Don't fear the wiring. I'm going to mount it up in my glove box pretty much like everyone does. Got a hole drilled in the back, ran all the wires through. Then basically I'll just get it up there, leave enough slack, and just split my run groups. The unused wire group, it's just going to get coiled up and just sat somewhere in there. I'll tuck it up and in. I don't have my fan box in, so leaves a lot of real estate. But yeah, I'll get those ran up through the grommet. These are my fans because, like I was saying, all my wiring is back here. Battery, relays, distribution blocks, shutoffs. This is how I decided to do my wiring. So yeah, I'll run what needs to go out of the car out, stay in, then coil up the rest and shove it up underneath the dash. I got these wires ran out. These are everything. I'll get these to my fan. We'll go into the car. Coil wire that we're not using. All the stuff I am using, it's not terminated, it's just ended. One of the red, I think it's the red black wire in there, that's actually got to go over to the clutch switch because I am going to use the launch control. I think that would be really cool to figure out how to do. So I'll hook that up to the clutch so we can have the launch control. But yeah, those extra for now. It's just in there. Like I said, I'm printing the case. It's loose, there's plenty of slack. I'm glad I caught this. So this is for that Microtech I have in there. But it's a cheat sheet for coils that I actually have LS2 coils. They require a switched ignition 12 volt source. So that means I need to add a switched 12 volt into this wiring to bring it over to the coils. I'll have to make up a bracket for them. But yeah, I'm going to start splitting up this harness to roughly where everything is going to be in the engine bay. Don't use electrical tape. Spin a little bit, get this tape. It's like a felt. This is way better. Alright, I'm just going to run mine up behind my fuel filter. Split it, or I'm going to use a P-clamp here. Just mount it straight to my bracket. So all the wiring comes out dead center. Coils got to go out that way. Shielded wire over to the cast. Then I'm breaking out the yellow because my temp sensor's here. 1 and 2 injector wiring will break out here. And we'll come around. TPS wiring. TPS mounts here. Then injectors, IAC. The tan is the boost wire. It'll just get ran and terminated in the harness right before, because I'm not boosted yet, but you never know, might get there, so I'll just keep it ran out already. And then the black is another ground off the board that it's gonna get tied in with the sensors. So intake air temp and coolant temp will just get tied directly into that. Then the other two grounds are going directly to the back in the ground distribution block. Next step, I guess, is coil bracket. Figure out how I'm going to mount the coils. Just start piecing everything, waiting on the injectors to show up and all that, so I can start pinning. But up next, we're going to build a coil bracket, mount some coils, build some wires, get that squared up, dialed in, and should just start rolling. Hopefully I can get a tune figured out. I have a bass tune from Aaron Cake, which, if you guys don't know, you need to know. He's doing like a whole series on a Cosmos. Highly recommend. Guy's a genius. Don't fear the wiring. So, like I said, I'm mounting ECU in the glove box. Unfortunately, I didn't want to rip all of this apart just to pull it out this direction. Plus, it doesn't matter. We can work with it in the box and start. Because unfortunately, for all this, you need to start right there. It's not bad. So I'll get all my supplies out, get all my loom, everything. And we're just gonna break it down into sections right now. So these wires, I don't know how long they're gonna have to be, but we can at least get loom on it. It's a little bit wasteful, but it is what it is. This is the easiest way I found to do it when I have to have the car out there and I can't work on a car in here because I have too much junk. So we're just gonna start there. Looking better already. Got the first main run. Heat shrink. Started with the sleeve. This is up to where basically my harness splits into two. One for ignition, then everything else off the other side. So I'll feed another piece of heat shrink tube over all this wiring up to that point. But before we heat shrink it, this is where it gets a little difficult because we need to run each individual one, bring it up, then we'll heat shrink those on, and then we'll heat shrink this over the top. That might not have made any sense to you, but I'll get it on and then get the runs made up, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about there. The main is done up to the point, not heat shrinked or anything, but I'll lay out all my heat shrink and tape off where the splits are, put it back in the car, double check it all. So now I can take it out and I can build the harness all the way up to where everything just splits off to its individual. Then we'll loom it all up to that point, and then once it's just the ends, we can just work on it on the car because they're a couple 6-inch runs or whatever, just short runs, easy to work on when it's just in the car, and we can start putting all the connectors on and really putting the harness where we want it. So I'm happy with where everything's at. Everything's got to come back off heat shrink wise, and we start from the middle, work our way out both sides. So we're loomed up to where everything's going to break. I'm just going to split this into 3 groups, make it simple, instead of just trying to keep one main and keep splitting it off. That's where I'm going to terminate all of them. They'll just turn into the 3 separate groups. Injectors, ignition stuff on that side, it's all ran up to where it starts going. So we're going to grab some connectors, and I'm going to start here on the secondaries and the IAC, and I'm just going to work my way up. I'll get all the fueling stuff, intake, coolant, and all that. Then we'll jump over to the ignition side and we'll button it up as we go. Got most of the wiring done. Just need to finish off the injectors, and then we can jump over to the coil side. Yeah. Kind of sucks leaning over a car to do this, but it is what it is. Yeah, we'll finish off the injectors, then we'll jump over to the coils and do, I think, the 16 connectors for 4 coils, or 16 pins for 4 coils. A lot of crimping, but we'll get there. Just gonna fix up our fuel line real quick. 90 up, 90 up. Got this T. Bam, straight over, loop it around. Just got to redo the regulator a little bit, and then done. It's going to look ghetto, it's going to be ghetto, but until I order some fittings and everything, just working with what I have. Work with what you have. Way better. So, one of the last pieces to the puzzle, unfortunately, is this spacer, because there's no vacuum ports on the Speedmaster throttle body, and I need to reference manifold pressure for the ECU. So I'm just gonna drill a hole, bam, we'll tap it, then we'll get I'm gonna tap it for 1/8 MPT, and it's just gonna split on the primary side for the rotary wise, primary, and then I'll just reference the 2. It won't be total manifold vacuum, but it'll be better because it can at least pulse between the 2 rotors. Better than it just being on a single runner. So I'll get this lined up, we'll punch it, drill it, tap it. Then we'll go slam it into the car and get it all, the hose ran, and we'll start it. Maybe. Well, we slammed it together. Everything is in. It's wired. Fuel's plumbed. Spacer's on. Let's go turn a key and